Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hayley and I use this channel to talk about natural living, menstrual cycles, eco-friendly advice and things like that. So today we're going to be talking about coming off the pill and specifically what to expect when you're thinking of coming off the pill. So this is going to be based around my experience and what I have experienced through coming off the pill after being on it for 11 years. So just a background on my pill, I started taking the pill when I was around 15 or 16 and so that was around 11 years ago now. And then I've recently come off the pill. I took my last pill on the 9th of December and that is the mini pill, which was specifically CERAZETTE. I know that quite a lot of people have different brands of CERAZETTE or usually take the normal pill, which allows you to take a 7-day break where you usually get your period, but with this one you don't have any period, or you just have irregular bleeding. So the first thing I want to talk about and what you should expect when coming off the pill is, number one, most importantly, is your mood. You're going to get a lot of mood swings from your hormones just balancing out. So depending on what pill you've been taking, it has been suppressing hormones like estrogen and progesterone. So they're going to come back. Whether they come back slowly or fast depends on your body type and your body in general. So that's the first thing to look out for. You're going to get a bit moody sometimes when you don't usually get moody, or you're going to get angry when you don't usually get angry, or you're going to be happier than you usually get, and that's just until your hormones balance out and you get back onto a normal cycle. On my experience with it, I found that the mood got me quite early on, so I started taking it on the 9th of December, and from the 12th of December, which is only a couple of days after, I noticed my mood changed quite a lot. Even my boyfriend commented on saying how crazy I have been, but that's just my body's way of getting my hormones back in check. Another thing that you should look out for is the fluid, specifically cervical discharge. So again, depending on what pill or birth control you have been taking, you may or may not have experienced any of that during that time, but it will come back. So you're going to start experiencing some cervical discharge, so that will be in your knickers most likely. It's not the best thing to have, but it's such a good thing that you have it because it shows that your body is healthy and your body is doing what it should be doing. So depending on what kind of discharge you get, if it's a egg white discharge, that usually indicates that you're ovulating. If it's creamy, it's usually that you're coming up to ovulating. Or you may just feel wet and you may not have anything there, but you just might feel a bit more moist. Than when you were on birth control before. Another thing to look out for is pain and cramps. So most commonly when you are bleeding at the beginning of your menstrual cycle is usually when the cramps come in, but they don't always come in then. They can come earlier and they can come randomly. So you may now experience ovulation pain, which is something that I think that I experienced after coming off the pill. It's different to menstrual pain when you're menstruating, but the way I sort of explain it is that it's a half between your menstrual cramps and like desperate for a wee uncomfortableness, and sometimes it is to your left or right depending on whether you can feel which side your egg comes out of on your ovary, and that will depend on where the pain is. For example, when I came off my pill, I definitely had more pain in my left, which is where I assume that my egg came out of its ovary, and tried to wait for a sperm, which did not happen because we're not trying for a baby yet. And so it is really normal for you to feel some pain around your stomach and your uterus, not necessarily just when you're bleeding, but any time throughout your cycle. And especially when you're just coming off the pill, then your body takes a while to get back to normal. Another thing that I was personally looking forward to after watching other videos on this subject, every video that I read said that your skin becomes flawless and that you don't have any more spots, which was not the case for me. So I just came off the pill a few days, maybe a week after I came off the pill. That is when I got lots of spots, specifically on my forehead. So in the last 10-11 years since taking the pill, I usually get spots around my chin and my jawline, which is said to be caused more by taking birth control, whereas hormonal normal menstrual cycle spots usually come around your forehead or elsewhere on your face, but not usually around your chin or your jawline. So that's a few days after, that's when I started noticing that, especially I had a massive one right here, had a few above my eyebrows. When I started bleeding for my first cycle after coming off the pill, that's when I realised that the spots were going away. So I don't have any massive ones that I did at the beginning of coming off the pill, but I definitely still have my normal spots that I've had before. I usually get like a cluster of like just red spots and lumps around my cheek area, and that hasn't gone away, unfortunately. So I was watching videos and they're saying they have flawless skin, so I was hoping that I would have flawless skin as well, but apparently that's not the case. But I will need to get more used to having spots around your cycle. So you're just learning, usually they come just before your period or sometimes just before ovulation, and then they clear away once ovulation has occurred or once bleeding has occurred. It's just something that you got to get used to, unfortunately. And I do not have flawless skin like I was expecting, which is a shame. Another thing that you obviously need to expect when you come off the pill, again depending on what pill you've taken, if you've taken the normal combined pill, you will have bled for a week each month anyway, but if you came off the mini pill like I have, you will not have experienced very much regular bleeding. So of course when you come off the pill you will bleed, so it tends to be that you have a withdrawal bleed, which is basically, it's a similar experience to having a period, apart from you haven't ovulated before and there is no egg or lining being released. So withdrawal bleeding is just bleeding without ovulating before, and then after that is usually when your full period starts, which is a normal period, so like your lining is being removed, and then you get into the gist of having a normal cycle again. So it's obviously something you have to expect. Some people take a lot longer than others to have their periods come back. So for me, it took 3.5 weeks to come back. The NHS says that it takes between 2 and 4 weeks on average for your period to come back. But I have heard a lot of stories that take 6 months to a year and even longer for your periods to come back. So honestly, you just need to relax and wait for it to come. You just need to wait for it to come. I know that there's lots of things on the internet about naturally starting off your cycle by taking certain seeds or taking certain medicines and tablets, and I honestly think you should just wait for it to come, and the stress of you worrying about it coming is going to probably delay it even more. So just relax and just wait for it to come, because it's going to come eventually. So that's really all that I wanted to talk about today, just like the main things that you should expect when you're thinking about coming off the pill, whether that's to try to have a baby or other issues or acne and things like that. There is a lot of benefits about coming off the pill, emotionally and mentally and physically. Since I've come off the pill, I have realised that there are so many other different ways and benefits of coming off the pill. So like as a woman, your body goes through the menstrual cycle for a reason, and what I've also learned is that how much the menstrual cycle says about your overall health. So your menstrual cycle is a really good indicator of whether there is anything else wrong with your body in general. For example, if you miss a period, then that could be anything to do with your diet or your exercise or your general health or something more serious, but usually it's not. So it's really good to keep track and keep a chart of your cycle and write down anything that you may or may notice about what's going on with your body, because it's a great indicator. So I'd be really interested to know if you chart your cycles or if you keep an eye on them, if they're regular, irregular, if you're thinking about coming off the pill and this is helpful. I really hope that it is. I would really appreciate a thumbs up and subscribe below. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye.